Steve Irwin was a well-known wildlife conservationist from Australia that traveled around the world, rescuing animals and making documentaries about them or animals that he really liked, like crocodiles. Steve got a one-night special. It was a big hit and they ended up making 3 seasons of the Crocodile Hunter show. However, he faced many challenges such as animals dying and their homes being taken away from them. He impacted millions of people's lives because he spread information about animals that would help keep them from going extinct anytime soon. However, Steve died while he was filming a documentary about the short-tailed stingray. A stingray felt like it was trapped by Steve and his cameraman and stabbed Steve. Steve Irwin was born on February 22, 1962 in Essendon, Australia. As a child, Steve was always either up a tree playing with animals or at the nearby creek chasing salamanders. For his 6th birthday present, his father got him a python that was around 12 feet long. His family had opened up the Beerwah Reptile Park in 1971 for all of the animals that they had saved and relocated. Steve caught his first freshwater crocodile at the age of 9 in 1972. By the age of 12, Steve was regularly jumping off the boat and onto a crocodile. Steve's inspirations were both of his parents. Steve's father was the best herpetologist in all of Australia and a well-known legend all over the world. A herpetologist is a person who studies reptiles and amphibians. Bob Irwin would take Steve on rescue missions where they would catch problem animals that would otherwise be killed. This includes snakes, freshwater crocodiles, and whatever other animals that were being a problem at the time. By watching his father, Steve learned how to catch these animals with his bare hands. Steve always wanted to make his father proud, so he would go out and catch animals and bring them home for the zoo, sometimes catching poisonous snakes without permission. Bob Irwin was Steve's mentor, hero, and idol. Steve called his mother the Mother Teresa of wildlife rehabilitation. Back in the late 1960s and early 70s, no one really thought about how to take care of orphaned animals. So his mother developed formulas and nursing techniques. Their house was always full of orphaned kangaroos, wallabies, koalas, wombats, platypuses, snakes, and lizards. His parents were teaching him to be passionate about wildlife conservation. He eventually got a 1-episode special about crocodiles. It was very popular and very successful. After Steve got married to Terry Raines, his best friend John Staton called Steve up so he could film him catching crocodiles. After the first documentary came out, thousands of people watched it. It was so popular that they ended up making 3 seasons of the Crocodile Hunter show, which he used to help fund his research, educating people, and expanding his park. It was very tragic that Steve Irwin died at such a young age. The world lost a very passionate wildlife activist on September 6, 2006. He died filming a documentary about stingrays. Steve was such an inspiration because of his love for all animals, whether they were cute and cuddly or if they were poisonous and dangerous. Steve Irwin met Terry Raines while he was doing a crocodile demonstration. Steve described meeting her as love at first sight. Today, Terry Irwin is running the Australia Zoo with the help of her 2 children. Steve and Terry were married June 4th, 1991. When Terry was in labor, Steve brought the whole camera crew into the hospital with him. Bindi Sue Irwin was born on July 24th, 1998, and Robert Irwin was born December 1st, 2003. Today, Bindi is working at the Australia Zoo Animal Hospital at the Australia Zoo. And Robert is working as a nature photographer and a wildlife educator at the zoo. My daddy was my hero. He was always there for me when I needed him. He listened to me and taught me so many things, but most of all, he was fun. Steve's mother died February 11, 2000 in a car accident. In the fall of 2018, Steve's family started a new series called Crikey, It's the Irwins.
I think the proudest thing that I've achieved professionally is global wildlife conservation. The proudest thing I've achieved personally is my children. Is there anything in this world that would want to make me give away what I'm doing now? Yes. Yes, there is. When my children can take the football that I call wildlife conservation and run it up. When they're ready to run up our mission, I will gladly step aside. And I guarantee you it'll be the proudest moment of my life. And my job will be done like my mum and my dad. That, and only then, then and only then will I know that I have achieved my ultimate goal, to be able to stand aside and let them run up my mission. Because that's what I did for my mum and dad, and I'm really proud to tell you that. By crikey, I had tears flowing out, and I'm holding them back. I'm trying so hard to hold them back, but I'm just doing what they wanted me to do. They created a wildlife warrior. I am that. And they were able to stand aside to varying degrees, and I'm able to run that ball up, mate. I'm running it up. You know what? The opposition's hard and it keeps coming, but I ain't stopping until my kids can run it up for me, and then I'll stand aside like my dad.
Everything I do in my life, I do to make my mom and dad proud. I want to carry on in my dad's footsteps and make sure that his legacy lives on forever. Bindi Irwin. We don't own the planet Earth. We belong to it, and we must share it with our wildlife. Steve Irwin. We humans still have a long way to go with learning to live harmoniously with our environment and its wildlife. Steve Irwin. It was very tragic that Steve Irwin died at such a young age. He was able to share his love of wildlife and conservation with his children, but they were not old enough at the time to carry on his message, but he died doing what he loved. Today, his wife and kids are happy to share what they learned from Steve and focus on the happier memories about him instead of their loss. There are many that still feel the loss of Steve Irwin the man, but his message of conservation will live on forever.